Hello friends, welcome to ASTRO-VIDYA Traditional Astrology. I am Astrologer Viidyadhar. In my last video, we talked about avoidance behavior and anxiety. In this video, we will briefly discuss the technique to face the stressful situation and try to overcome stress. Now, why we should face the stressful situations, ordinary stressful situations I'm talking about. There are some situations which are unavoidable. A lot many times we need professional help. This technique is not a substitute for professional help or a doctor's guidance or medication, but certainly along with that you can certainly apply this technique. Firstly, when we learn to face stress and when we learn to overcome it, it increases our confidence, and in every next stressful situation, we are more confident and less stressful, and we can take more logical, reasonable decisions. Now, there are various techniques. Whatever I am telling is not the only technique for coping with stress. There are a lot of techniques, and you can choose a technique of your choice, or you can, as I told you, you can seek professional help. There are some ancient techniques like meditation, yoga. In Western world, shamanism, something called shamanism is very famous. Also, there are some modern day techniques like the NLP or neuro linguistic programming or CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, and some other techniques also. But the technique which is widely used by, I believe, psychologists and other counselors also is called systematic desensitization. Systematic desensitization, what it is? For that, we have to understand one famous experiment. If we understand this famous experiment, we will understand this technique of systematic desensitization. Now, what is that experiment? It is done by a famous Russian scientist called Ivan Pavlov. Pavlov's experiment of conditioning and deconditioning is very famous. I will just briefly tell you about the experiment. What Pavlov did, there was a dog, and he used to give food to that dog, and before giving the food, he used to ring a bell and give him food. Slowly, the dog learned to, whenever the bell used to ring, the dog learned that food is available. So he conditioned his brain that when the bell rings, food is available, and saliva would start coming in his mouth. This is conditioning. Now he also has done another experiment which is more important, that is deconditioning. After some time, Pavlov just used to ring the bell, and he would not give food to the dog. For a few days, the saliva would come in the dog's mouth. But over a period of time, the dog learned that even if the bell rings, food is not available. Now, this was new learning, and the previous learning was, in simple words, we can say, wiped out. And there was new learning. This is called deconditioning. First was conditioning, next was deconditioning. Same thing we have to do with our stress, anxiety. When we regularly keep responding in a stressful manner to routine situations, our brains, our nervous system is conditioned for anxiety. It becomes a conditioned response. It's not necessary that the situation has to be stressful. Our brain just tells us, oh, there is a danger. And we are conditioned to give all the responses which an anxious person gives. So we have to learn to decondition it. And this is systematic desensitization. What is systematic desensitization is expose ourselves to small doses of stress. First, don't expose yourself to too much of stress that leads to avoidance behavior. No, this is dangerous, I don't want to go into it. So, small stress, face it, face it, face it. Slowly, the situation becomes so normal for us that we are no more stressful. Then go for the next step. Slightly more stress, slightly more stress, slightly more stress. This way, over a period of time, we learn to face the stressful situation without being stressful. This is called systematic desensitization. Now, who will need how much time for this systematic desensitization can't be said. Somebody might just learn it in a few days or a few hours. Somebody might need few years. And again, as I told you, this is not a substitute for any professional or medical advice. This is just a technique. But you can try it, or you can ask a professional more about this technique. Thank you. I hope you like this video.